Selecting a tarot deck for readings is a very important step. You want to ensure it suits your level of experience and is right for the circumstances and sitter. Today, there is an enormous range of tarot decks to choose from. Some are reproductions of historic decks and others are updated versions of famous cards, while many offer something completely new. As you progress through your tarot journey, you will collect many of these remarkable decks. Faced with such a huge choice, it is easy to become confused or overwhelmed. It may be difficult to work out which deck to try next, or use for a reading. However, it can be fun to discover a deck you will enjoy using and studying for years to come. So do not rush to select your deck, especially if you are new to tarot, and take into account the considerations we have outlined in this article. In the past, tarot cards were firmly linked with fixed traditional meanings. Only the great tarot masters of the occult dared to modify these interpretations by developing their own theories within esoteric societies. The 20th century brought about radical changes in the way we understand tarot. The arcana are no longer seen as the bearers of dogmatic and proven truths. Today, they stand for subjective experience, which the reader can feel free to interpret. Since these changes have been accepted, many authors have naturally sought to reframe the traditional meanings, taking into account personal themes and interpretations beyond those that were once set in stone. Thanks to this development in the way tarot is practiced and perceived, modern readers can seek out tarot decks that are well-suited to their own personal ways of reading, including the way they are feeling at the time, the subjects and techniques they want to explore, and their level of experience. When choosing a deck, a reader needs to ask, what is my purpose for owning this deck? There are many possible answers. A deck may be judged exclusively on its aesthetic value and form part of a collection purely on this basis. Many are works of art in their own right, and the fact that the artist has attempted to convey a message with the illustrations often adds the profound nature and merit of the images. The stunning Starman Tarot is an example of a truly artistic modern deck. If you are a reader who regularly uses the intuitive reading technique or intends to use the tarot to read for yourself, choose a deck that you can interact with emotionally. Both the deck's theme and style should reflect a reader's taste, experience, and expertise. If you love mythology, for example, you might benefit from using a deck like the Universal Goddess Tarot. A traditional deck may be most effective for readers who practice the symbolic reading technique or use the archetypal meanings of the arcana linked to the hero's journey. These include decks such as the Universal Tarot or the Marseille Tarot. If you want to look at a specific aspect of the tarot, a particular author or technique, choose a deck that matches your goals. In this case, the deck should be complex enough to challenge you, but not so difficult to interpret that it discourages you. As a budding reader, you may not yet have a good grasp of the secondary meanings, symbols, and elements in the cards. In this instance, seek out a deck that is simple and easy to use. As your experience grows, you can put it aside and move on to a deck that allows you to make progress. The tarot beginner might also want to consider using just the major arcana when starting to practice readings. Deepening knowledge. As you grow in experience as a reader, your way of reading the cards will also inevitably change. You may find a deck that was once clear and captivating no longer fires your imagination. Alternatively, a deck that you once found uninspiring could suddenly become a mine of intuitive information. When a deck is no longer working for you, put it to one side and choose a different one that satisfies your current needs. There are other significant considerations to address when selecting a new deck. Some decks follow the example of the Marseille Tarot and do not have fully illustrated minor arcana cards. The Six of Swords, for example, simply shows 6 swords. Others, however, follow the style of the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot and illustrate the minor arcana. When picking a deck, consider how you intend to read the minor arcana cards. If the imagery is a key element in your interpretation, you should opt for a fully illustrated deck. One of the most difficult aspects of a reading is communicating the outcome to a carent. Picking a deck with themes and artistic styling that match the tastes and values of the sitter can be a great help. Many readers offer 3 or 4 different decks for the carent to choose from. The artistic style of a deck can communicate a specific way of looking at things. Delicate watercolors can be a good fit for a carent who wants to talk about his or her love life. A more minimalist style can be right for a reading about someone's professional life, while a deck with darker imagery may be better for a carent facing challenges. Not every deck is suitable for all purposes. Wise readers are less likely to obsess over finding one perfect deck and instead experiment with a wide selection of decks. This way, you can take advantage of the unique perspectives of as many as possible. There are many reasons to own more than one tarot deck. Proficiency with a range of styles, for example, will keep an experienced reader on his or her toes. You can use different decks to suit how you are feeling. In a gloomy mood, go for the Dark Grimoire Tarot. Or if you're in a cheerful frame of mind, you might want to conduct a reading with the uplifting Happy Tarot. You can also try out a variety of decks for exploring different situations or working with specific sitters. You may prefer one for everyday guidance and others for focusing on spirituality, creativity, or relationships. There may also be a go-to deck you prefer to use when reading for a certain family member or friend. Having a number of decks means that you can choose from them to suit the readings you perform for yourself and others. Different styles will work for your changing mood and querent's needs. For example, a sitter who comes from a Christian background may enjoy a reading using a tarot deck that features symbolism from that religion. Does your teenage niece have a fascination with vampires? Give her a reading with the Gothic Tarot of the Vampires. If your carent wants to work on inner child issues, you can use the Children Tarot to help him or her. Are you looking to spice up your relationship? Read for yourself and your lover with the Karma Sutra Tarot. Until next time, farewell.